Hello, everyone. Fred Shropshire here with Defenders of 9/11s with WCNC Charlotte here on all of our media platforms. Thank you for joining us. And so, Savannah, good to see you. I'm hearing a little feedback. Can you hear the feedback too?
I'm getting a little bit from your end. It seems, yeah, mute yourselves when you're not talking. Okay. You'd think we'd have this figured out. By now, we'll get there.
All right. So, really quickly, you're doing a story here where our defenders have been doing stories about just the effect that this pandemic has had on our economy and the workforce. And, a lot of stories about Facebook, not the best stories about Facebook, but this is actually a good story where people are connecting. It's almost like one of those deals where, like, when people buy a product that becomes popular, these little groups pop out with people who have stories about their experiences with said product. In this case, it has to do with unemployment and people in our state.
Yeah, so many people, and I'm looking at our comments right now. So anyone who's joining our live stream on our social media channels, feel free to chime in if you're dealing with any issues related to unemployment, the pandemic in general. We'd love to talk about it. But essentially, this is, we've been doing stories for months and months, our Defenders team, about just a seemingly endless litany of issues people are having, whether it be securing unemployment, or having some issue with their unemployment payments, stimulus checks not coming through. I could go on all day with the issues that folks are having. And one of the really difficult parts, even for us working in news, has been getting a hold of anyone on the phone, to kind of walk you through what to do in some of these situations. And it makes sense. There's so many Americans who are relying on this, and only so many people who can deal with it on a case-to-case basis. But because of that, and because of so many people still struggling, even 8 months into the pandemic now, a lot of these Facebook support groups are popping up. So support groups on Facebook of people, there are unemployment specific ones. There are small business owner specific ones. And really, it's been this incredible way for these folks to connect and not only kind of vent about their struggles, which so many want to do right now, but also kind of help each other out, be a support system, as so many people are dealing with all these issues. And I'm seeing already a bunch of comments coming in from people saying that they understand that, they feel that struggle as well, Fred.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's one from Angie Ramsey. She says that I am a small business owner and I can't secure any help with payroll. You were saying that you were getting comments, or you were seeing these groups form around different aspects of employment. Small business is one of them, right?
Oh, totally. I did a story. Well, I think my story was last week or the week before, and it really focused on small businesses in particular. And these experts that I interviewed on this say, this small business owner, the average small business owner doesn't have, a finance degree, etc. So for a lot of these folks, it's been really hard to understand, especially these PPP loans, the payroll protection, and that might be what that commenter was referring to, getting these loans. First of all, just getting the loan and then figuring out how to get it forgiven and how that works. There's been so much miscommunication, just even on the government level, and maybe miscommunication is the wrong word, but just kind of confusion trying to iron this out, because all of these programs were rolled out so quickly to help Americans, but it was very confusing for the average American. Even the unemployment benefits. We're still getting emails from people who aren't sure how to secure that, or they're having issues with it, and it's complicated.
Yeah, what's the biggest complaint that you're seeing out there from people? We've got like one comment here from Paul Armstrong. I'm a small business owner and I can get no help at all. Says the money went to corporations. What are you hearing? Because some people are small business owners. Some people just are. They work a job, a 9 to 5, like a lot of other people. What are you seeing?
What Paul said is exactly right. Unfortunately, there were so many huge corporations that got these loans, and it's because of exactly what I just said. They have finance departments. They have people who know exactly what to do and how to coordinate with the banks. And a lot of these small businesses experts I've interviewed on this have said, it was great for these corporations who knew exactly what to do, but for the mom and pop shops and the small businesses that really, really needed a lot of this assistance, it was endlessly confusing. Look, we've done a few of these live streams, Fred. I've never seen so many comments coming in about people just sharing their own issues, and this is exactly why, going to the crux of this story, these groups are so important, because to be able to post and say I'm going through this, and then have someone say I'm going through that too, whether it just be a shoulder to lean on and know that someone else is going through the same thing, or to lend advice of how one particular person dealt with it or got around the red tape. It's been so helpful for so many people. As Stacey Robinson just commented, unemployment, when does it end? That's a huge issue we're seeing right now. So in the front end of this pandemic, it was a lot of questions of when am I going to get my stimulus check, or I haven't gotten it yet. And then it was a lot of, well, how do I get the extra $600 a week for unemployment? Now we're getting to the point where people's unemployment benefits are drying up again, 8 months into the pandemic. So folks are wanting to know, what now? What can we do now? There's no more federal help any time in the foreseeable future, at least. So that, Fred, I think back to your question, might be one of the biggest questions and concerns I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and then there's another one up here from Lorena Bush. It says those who can't work but pending disability get no help at all. Are you hearing anything about disability?
Not as much on disability. Those who can't work but pending disability get no help at all. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. A lot of people also, and I can't speak too much to the disability aspect of it, but a lot of people are looking for jobs right now and they're just not there. That's a huge part, huge thing people are connecting over as well. Of, my unemployment's run out. I'm not getting any more, but I can't find a job either. There aren't any, because these small businesses are struggling as well. It's a huge trickle down effect.
What's the most surprising thing that you have uncovered in all of your stories? Because this is one of a series of stories, not only you, but our other defenders have done over the past several months. What's the most surprising thing that you come across when it comes to this whole unemployment process?
Oh man, maybe not surprising, but just how hard it is to get in contact with anyone. I think even as folks in news, we're used to being able to get answers for people. People reach out to us and say, this is going on, can you help? And in media, it's nice to be able to usually get right to the issue and help. Even now, I mean, it's hard for even us in media to get answers. We can't get anyone on the phone. Thankfully we have a few good contacts that our defenders team has made with the unemployment office in the state, and we do what we can. But I mean, folks are saying that they're calling every single day, can't get someone on the phone. So imagine how frustrating that is when every cent of unemployment counts for you, and either it doesn't come through for whatever reason, or there's a glitch in the system, or you don't know if you filed the wrong thing, and you can't get someone on the phone for months. I had someone I interviewed for the story say that when he finally got a hold of the unemployment office, they said, well, you're not really priority one until it's been 8 weeks.
Wow.
And it was just a glitch that he wasn't getting unemployment. A single father, he's like, I can't go a day without money. My power's getting shut off tomorrow. 8 weeks is the threshold to even be prioritized. And again, it just goes back to how many people are having these issues. I'm seeing a lot of, I'm looking at the comments, Fred. I don't know if you're looking through them too.
Yeah, there's one from Baisha Sawandia that's talking about this $300 that used to be a part of it. And it looks like a couple of people on the chat picked up on this about what happened to that money. We've done stories on that actually, about how at that point there was never, we still haven't had another stimulus package passed that would fill the gap for that.
And there is still some hope that one will be passed eventually. I think Americans were given a lot of false hope that it was going to happen quickly, and many were probably hoping for and depending on that, and that did not happen. There was a lot of disagreement across the aisle on what that should look like, how big that package should be. Should it include another round of stimulus checks or not? Should we be focusing on small business or individual Americans or families, or and of course government doesn't always work very quickly. But yeah, so no second round. North Carolina just recently issued payments of $300 or so dollars. I think it was $325 for families with children, I think under 16 years old. So those went out recently to North Carolinians. So that was a big relief. But again, you're talking $300 only for people who can't keep the lights on, are behind on their bills. Yeah, people are posting right now. Oh, the other thing, Sandy just mentioned this: the power bill's high, water bill's even higher. For a while, there were laws in place to keep the utility companies from turning off people's utilities, right? But now we're 8 months in; these companies need to make money, so they're going forward with disconnections now, and that's been tragic. I mean, I have people calling me saying that their power, their heating, etc., is going out, and there's nothing they can do. Some other folks talking about servers struggling, the arts struggling, so many different industries that just, they're 8 months in. Another interview I had, they were talking about, yeah, they tell you to set aside a rainy day fund, but it's been raining for 8 months with no relief in sight. And who can plan for that? I think you're muted, Fred. I can't hear.
Can you hear me now? Okay. There seems to be a lot of ire and frustration aimed at the politicians that I'm seeing here. Republicans, Democrats, the state, the federal government. There are levels to this, in terms of what entity is responsible for doling out certain types of money. We were talking about the $300 and FEMA, and then of course you're just talking about the program with the kids, the state mailing out that $350 for parents who have kids 16 and younger or whatever, or in school. What can you tell folks in terms of what's the most, I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, what's the most resourceful thing that you've come across in terms of people helping each other? Because clearly the state can only do so much. Clearly the federal government has only been able to do so much at this point, at least. And we've been telling stories, different types of stories. What can you think of anything that you've seen that's been unique, out of the ordinary, in terms of people getting help?
Yeah. Well, again, these Facebook groups, and this is a story we're airing tonight. For those of you watching the live stream, hope you can tune in at 11. You'll learn more about this. But yeah, a lot of people honestly just helping each other from their own experiences. Like I mentioned, it sometimes takes weeks for people to get a hold of someone on the phone. So if you're able to connect with someone who went through that calling every day for 8 weeks phase already, to get some clarity and some answers, that's been really, really helpful. The downside is so many people have just these specific individual issues and concerns, and you're talking about the disappointment when it comes to our politicians, and even how our government is functioning, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. Of course it's frustrating for Americans. I mean, these are people that we're electing to help us. We're taxpayers, and for people who can't keep the lights on, of course it's frustrating. But then you think about these politicians who are fielding hundreds, if not thousands, of calls also a day from frustrated constituents, and rightfully frustrated constituents. And our two-party system just has had this second stimulus deal just stall. They're going back and forth and not agreeing. And I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars. So on the one hand, it shouldn't be so easy to pass something that's another several $trillion. We should want it to be done correctly, but there is also definitely that frustration of, okay, when is help coming? What is it going to look like? We have no idea.
Yeah, well, we've had a comment that popped up, and I think this is a good way to put this. Someone said, "Where are these groups?" I think they're talking about the groups that you're going to be talking about in your story tonight. So you'll definitely want to tune in for that. And we've also, we always remind people that on our website on wcnc.com/money, if you check out our website, there are lots of resources for people to learn about this process. There's a lot of information there. We're deep into the game, and things will probably change and recalibrate as our lawmakers come up with new stimulus packages, hopefully. But we definitely have a lot of information on our webpage, again, wcnc.com/money. Looking forward to seeing your story tonight, Savannah. Is there anything that you want to add before we go?
Not really. I just see this comment from Paul Armstrong just said, I'll pledge 10% of my business profits to people in need, even though we're not in a great place. And I think that's the perfect thing to end on, is that in a lot of these groups, there's people stepping up to help one another, even though everyone really is struggling right now in their own ways. A good part of these support groups is, even if someone can't answer your exact specific questions, so many people are stepping up to help one another. And in all these difficult times and all the frustrations and all of that, it is nice to see people stepping up to be a friend and to help one another, even total strangers. So yeah, I hope people can tune in at 11 tonight, learn more about these groups, get involved, at least just have the support system and knowing you're not alone. I mean, that in itself is very powerful.
All right. Well, man, I'm looking forward to seeing your story, and thank everyone else for joining us tonight on this live stream. Again, check us out on WCNC Charlotte tonight at 11 o'clock. You'll see Savannah Levin's latest Where's the Money story about these groups sounding off about the current situation. Thank you, Savannah.
Thank you.